Leslie Lopez is tracking today's major wind event.
Yeah.
It's expected to extend through the end of the week. That's a long time for huge gusty winds.
I know, all the way through about Thursday before we really start to see this back off, at least the red flag warning portion of this. I wanted to show you the mountains. Isn't that gorgeous? We have not seen mountain snow get down about 5,000 feet pretty much all season long. 1 to 3 inches falling through our mountain communities. That would have been the story for today. I mean, really, this is much needed, a great sight, very anticipated. And finally here, we're seeing some snow even into riverside mountain communities just above those hilltops there. But now we're talking about some wind. I mean, that's the big story today. We're going to see the really powerful wind event here in Southern California, one that we don't often talk about or forecast. This is sometimes what we would call a decade-long event because we don't include Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley or Beverly Hills and Hollywood Hills and Los Angeles in Santa Ana as often. But today we certainly are going to do that. We have some wind already out towards Hollywood. You can see the palm tree moving around out there, 58 degrees right now into Hollywood. So let me just show you why this is an unusual event for Southern California. One, we have a really large area under a red flag warning. We've been seeing red flag warnings all season long. We've been seeing powerful Santa Anas, but they've been limited to certain wind-prone Santa Ana areas, or what we would call Santa Ana wind corridors. Now you're seeing most of Southern California under a red flag warning and under a high wind warning. That's really the story. The high wind warnings that are stretching from the coast all the way out towards our mountain communities and our desert spots. That's unusual to see. I mean, we do not have wind velocities making up to 50, 60 miles per hour this widespread here in Southern California. But this particular wind event, we have a couple dynamics that are really putting a lot of pressure on our atmosphere and creating the opportunity for some very strong gusty winds. One, we have high pressure that's out towards the Pacific. It's trying to make its entrance, so it's kind of pushing and nudging on this area of low pressure. This is an Arctic blast that really dropped in for most of the nation, bringing in some of our coldest and most frigid air that we've been seeing in a while. For most of the nation, it's quite a different story. So with high pressure approaching the low, what ends up happening is we tighten up our pressure gradients, and that means our atmosphere is trying to balance out. But when those pressure gradients tighten, what happens is we do have some very strong gusty winds as an opportunity for the atmosphere to balance. So with that, some of the wind velocities you're going to see are going to become widespread. So we have 29-mile-per-hour winds out towards Moore Park. This is going to be their Santa Ana wind corridor. Everything you're seeing right now, very typical for Santa Ana winds. But then, as high pressure gets in to Southern California, it's going to add pressure on our atmosphere. Subsidence is going to occur, which means that we have some sinking air moving that air mass down into areas of our valleys, our foothills, out to the coastline, and then now the winds become a lot more widespread. That'll head into tonight, and some of the strongest winds will happen overnight tonight into tomorrow morning at noon, and then beyond that, we're going to see some winds finally calm down by Thursday, and we get back to normal just in time for the weekend. But again, this is a few days of it. Interestingly enough, we have some wind, and we have some snow, and we have some rain out towards our mountain communities, and maybe even a little bit of rainfall that could happen in South Orange County later on this morning, so that's not out of the question either. But unusual, yes, to see some Santa Anas in addition to some rain and some snow. They don't usually occur together, but here we just have an area of low pressure that's just so nearby. We're back to 60 degrees over in Beaumont. We have 70 degrees today over in Covina, 73 into Inglewood, and temperatures over in Thousand Oaks, 70, and then 65 degrees into Ventura. Now we have the red flag warnings continuing through Thursday, 71 on Friday, then we have those mid-60s Saturday, Sunday on into your Monday, and then we head out towards our valleys and our Inland Empire, 68 today. We'll warm things up to about 77 degrees on your Friday. We'll bring back those 60s on Saturday and Sunday, and again, damaging winds all across Southern California. Even the coastline could see 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. When we reach that threshold, about 50, we could see trees and power lines down. So I know the power companies are preemptively shutting down power. You might get that alert today. The mountains, 39 with some snow falling. We have some very strong gusty winds at the very tops of our mountains, 90 to 100-mile-per-hour winds possible. But of course, those aren't very populated, or they're not populated areas. So we're not expecting to see, as far as damage to the population, that's not a big concern for the mountain areas. And then the desert spots, 59, but it's the foothills that could see some of the strongest wind gusts, and we know the foothills are populated, so unfortunately we could still see 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds in those regions.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel, and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.